Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTubers. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon. And I came across this picture story. It was a video, and I paused it a few times and took some screenshots. We could call this the Good Samaritan, and you could call it Pay It Forward. Now, I'm fairly certain this was after the tsunami, and what's happened here is an older couple, at least an older man. It says older woman, but they're trying to get across a muddy field here, riverbed. The water there, right here, is pouring constantly, but this is solidified into just a morass, a slough of despond, as it says in Pilgrim's Progress. A mess, and apparently they're trying to get to the other side, to get to their car, or to get to safety, or get up a hill, whatever the case may be, and they get about halfway across and they sink, and they are stuck in the mud. You'll see they have a very expensive telescope with a camera on it. The woman has a purse and a backpack, so I'm just going to go through this, and just it's quite an object lesson, a tale of the difference between that culture and our culture today here in this nation that we live in. Some of you who are listening to me in America. So I'm just going to go through this and just try to recount everything verbally and what I see going on here. So they are... I thought there was another one. Apparently not. Okay, they're stuck there. This guy comes walking in. Now, he's apparently a fisherman. They say young man, fisherman, I don't know. It looks to me like he's got a big smile on his face. And with about a $5,000 rig there, you know, that maybe he could steal. Yeah, he'd have a big smile on his face. Well, anyway, he takes the camera and just walks on the surface there. He's light enough, skinny enough, whatever. He's got big enough shoes on. I don't know. You can see he's pretty thin. So he just walks the camera on out, and there's a big camera attached to it. So it's not just a telescope. Okay. And then he comes back and he tries to get the man out, and he cannot pull him out. There's no amount of force he can apply there to get him out, and he'd have probably injured him if he did. The woman's kind of helping a little bit. You can see she's got a backpack on. So he gives the man a hand and tries to pull him out. That doesn't work either. So you can see a little bird or something there flying through. I don't know what that is. Almost looks like a fish, but something flitted through there. So he tries to pull the guy out. That don't work. So he... gets the woman's purse and backpack. At this point, he's got, other than whatever wallet the guy might have, he's got pretty much their whole belongings. And proceeds to set those off. Again, walking right on the surface. Now he comes back and he starts trying to get the woman out. And apologize there. And then he has the bright idea, well, if I can't pull him out, I can lay down in the mud and let him walk on my back. So at this point I'm thinking, boy, I can totally relate to that. You know, I've been working all this time, and a lot of people have walked on my back. And I guess I just got to smile and say, well, that's whatever they do. You know, this was a Good Samaritan deed, and the fact that it's been a repeated process, whatever. I'll just let that one go. So he lays down, and the woman stands up on his back. And at one point he points, I thought I got that in there, maybe I missed it. Yeah, right there. He's pointing and saying, "Here, step right here." And so the woman stands up on his back, gets out. So then he tells the man, "Stand on my back." So the guy uses him as a flotation device to stand up and get on his feet and pull himself out of the mud. And there he's about out, and the woman gives him her hand and helps him a little bit, and the kid helps him. And they get him out of the muck. Now at this point, what do? Well, the woman is turned away, and then she turns back. I guess it took me a few to get that. And she thanks him. She calls to him. The kid turns around, and she calls to him, and she bows her head in thank you. And the kid bows his head. And then he starts walking off. And at that point, the man is looking at his hands. He bowed to the man too. The man thanked him, and he bowed. They bowed to him too. Anyway, just a beautiful little story. You can see how deep the kid's sinking there, and the effort it's taken him to slog through this stuff. And you can't imagine the yuck, probably the stench and the dead fish and dead who knows what in there. We don't need to go any further there. So he's using some interesting motions here to clear. Anyway, and a neat quote here by John Holmes. I know personally a John Holmes, but this one is, oh my gosh. There is no exercise better for the heart than reaching down and lifting people up. So I thought that was a neat little, storyline, and I want to just put it out there and just be thinking more. I did the some initial comparisons, notes for the differences between the Ozark Refugium and the Pacific Northwest states, readout states. And I'll just make a couple closing comments here and then finish this one up. But that is that the kind of person that you want to be, the kind of people that we choose to be at this time in history, in these places, I believe will determine where we are going to, where we're going to be spending eternity and with whom. Let me put it that way. I made the statement about, watch Keith Green's song about the sheep and the goats, and the difference between the sheep and the goats are what they did and did not do. Your words and your actions will determine your destiny. And destinies are being forged right now in many, many people's lives. The future is being written as we speak. Lives are being changed as we speak. This, what I foresee and vision here is, like I said, what happened in Russia and Cuba, where when their economies broke down, there was plenty of food, and the conditions did not obtain where there was rioting and whatnot. So people had plenty. What happened in Russia reads like out of the Book of Acts. Everybody had more than they needed, and nobody had any lack, and everyone had, they were filled and they had plenty. So that was amazing, and that's not going to happen here in America as things stand right now. It can happen in certain parts of America if we do that which we're called to do, and if we will be the people that we say that we are. if we live the way that that one who we call Messiah or Lord or Yahweh or our Redeemer, our brother, our captain, our king, if we live the precepts that he taught while he was here on earth, we will have the possibility and the capability of having a situation where we will have good Samaritans helping people without worrying about, gee, I could walk off with this camera, or I could walk off with this person, this backpack, and there's no way they could ever touch me. But I doubt that if in America that probably, the chances of that happening here would have been probably slim and none. Could have happened. Not as likely, though. Just a totally different cultural concept. So, that being said, I think I'll just end this one and just hope you think about that, pray about that. I'm going to off and on give just some thoughts on situations like this, stories I come across, and pray, hope and pray that you will all who are listening to this and hearing it, listen and hear people, hear and listen, that you'll allow this kind of thinking, let this mind be within you, which was also in Christ, Messiah, the Anointed One, Yeshua, however you perceive his name to be. Let the mind that was in him be in you. And it was not a selfish mind. He did not have where to lay his head. The Son of Man, which is from the book of Enoch, and only in the book of Daniel, the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. So, take up your cross daily and follow me. If any man seek to save his life, he shall lose it. And he that seeks to lose his life for my sake shall find it. The young man in the story he could have died there. He could have, and he may have been contaminated, or who knows what. He might have gotten sick and died later. But he laid down his body. In a sense, he laid down his life so to save those two people. They could have stayed there until animals came and tore into them, or until someone came and robbed them and killed them, or whatever. That young man was their salvation, as it were, and he did it by laying down his body and letting them walk upon him. So it's on other people's heads what they do. I've been pushing for 17 years. I've been doing this as a ministry, and very, very few people have done anything to repay what has been done for them. They have been blessed, and some of them have not returned anything in Thanksgiving. And I think in particular of, I won't even begin to describe the people, because they'll hear it and go, of course they know, everyone knows. Anybody that hears this that is here in this Ozark Plateau and here in safety because of my ministry, and you don't have to talk to me, you don't have to complain to me or give me a hard time. It's between you and the Father. If you could help, that would be wonderful. I could use a bicycle, I could use a car, I could use food every once in a while, I could use a little bit of financial help, and things are going to change. Whether any of you help or not, things are going to change, and help is coming. But if you don't help, you will not be blessed for helping me. And if you do help, I would bless you. And I've seen that happen before. One woman gave me $100. I said, may this be blessed back to you, about 20,000 times. Well, $2 million later, exactly. I think she was blessed. So, anyway, this is Jerry Diamond. If you are listening to this, you are the remnant.